Bonjour, Gakinawea. Greetings to everyone. This next song is a Men's Honor Song being sung by Nancy Gonzalez. The song is about, recognizes the original instruction and sacred responsibility that was gifted by Creator for the men to carry. This sacred masculine essence is to be shared, respected, and honored within our communities. An integral part of carrying the sacred medicine gives the ability to walk with a good mind and heart by connecting through spirit and by having the understanding that they are also part of the community circle. The teaching speaks of the man's responsibilities at the outside of the circle, looking inward to create a protective barrier for the women, youth, children, and the elders. The men are the protectors of our communities. Through time and colonization, many of our men have fallen off their path and forgotten this original instruction. As a community, we value our men by helping them heal through the use of our traditional medicines, ceremony, prayer, love, compassion, and understanding from our broader community. Our men are beginning to reclaim their identities and fulfill their responsibilities as the protectors of our communities. May we honor our men with this song. Aha, chimiguch.
Yeah, you are listening to the CKMS 102.7 FM radio, and that was the Men's Honor Song. We are Two White Feather, Lori Gentle Eagle, we got Seated Bear, the emotional support pup, and also we got Rogi Rushevsky, Errol Barrow, and Grandpa Rufus. This is the Red Road Journey, where we aim to amplify Indigenous voices to heal ourselves, our relatives, our communities, and our planet. We are broadcasting you from the traditional toys of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples.
Today on the Red Road Journey, we are going to honor a day which took place on Thursday, May the 14th, and that is the Moose Hide Campaign Day. And of course, this day can be celebrated and honored every day by wearing your moose hide pin and making a statement about how you will move forward to end gender-based violence. Back in 2024, Two White Feather and I had the absolute pleasure to interview Raven Lacerte, who is one of the founders of the Moose Hide Campaign. So I do encourage you to go back to the Red Road Journey YouTube channel and take a look at that interview 2 years ago in May. Today, we're going to continue our conversations about this, and we're going to play a clip off YouTube which illustrates the story behind the Moose Hide Campaign. And here it is.
daughter Raven and I were hunting moose along the Highway of Tears. It's Highway 16, and talking about that reality that Indigenous women and non-Indigenous women live. That there is a place where so many women have been murdered or gone missing, that they refer to that place as the Highway of Tears.
We're talking about the need to do something right away, something now. And our family was really trying to figure out something that we could do to help end some of that violence that's happening towards women and children, to help bring some love and light back to that highway.
We were blessed with a moose that morning. I was witnessing my daughter Raven at the tender age of 16 in her fierceness, harvesting that moose.
We had this moment of inspiration, and it was such a beautiful moment to be able to share with my dad on our beautiful carrier territory, to bring that moose hide home and cut it up into a bunch of little squares and ask people to wear that as their commitment, as their reminder of who they want to be in this world.
Wear this thing, you promise. If you wear it, you promise not to do violence to the women and children in your life.
What we've seen since Moose Hide Campaign was founded in 2011 is that as soon as folks hear about our mission and our vision, they feel compelled to join. So we started with 20 people at the first Moose Hide Campaign Day, and it grew by 2 times every time since then.
And the campaign has started off very humbly. Paul and Raven will tell you about sitting around the table and cutting up the first moose hide pin and writing out on index cards, handwritten, and handing them out to their friends. The campaign is being a slow burn, and now it's going much quicker now. Last year we gave out our 3 millionth moose hide pin. We'll be giving out our 4th million, so we're now at close to 1 million a year we're giving out.
For each pin represents at least 5 conversations about the need to end violence against women and children. There are millions of conversations happening across this nation.
The Moose Hide Campaign, it was easy to say that it aligned with my virtues and values, not only as an Indigenous man in community, but also as a human being in community, around not only how we look after our families, but how we provide loving compassion so that our families, grow up safe, comfortable, and acknowledged for who they are and the gifts that they carry.
What I've learned is that this movement has grown and been able to reach so many people in such a short amount of time. But creating cultural shifts in this country takes many years, takes the work across generations. It won't just be us, it won't just be my dad and my sister, but the next generation of our family and beyond.
It does take intergenerational thinking and that long-term effort to bring forward a different future than the past that we've had.
When we meet students in post-secondary institutions across Canada, there is such a huge appetite to become involved in solving this ailment in our society. There's so much sexualized violence and gender-based violence that's very evident on post-secondary campuses in Canada. Students want to be able to contribute to the solution. When we ask men and boys to become involved, we want them to feel like we're calling them in rather than calling them out.
There has to be healthy, loving masculinity. That's the antidote. So we call people into that space, saying that you don't have to show up as a healthy person. You just have to show up and say, I'm willing to take a couple of steps and a couple more. And so we invite people into that journey in whatever way makes sense to them and from whatever culture.
What I would say to young men, perhaps it's not so much in what I would say, but rather in how I would listen and invite them into space that is safe and comfortable for those conversations to happen.
Be yourself, and if you can, open your heart up a little bit, but just showing up and listening on your first year, and then second year you kind of just open up a little bit more and a little bit more, and we'll never push anything on you that you're not ready for. And then if you're ready to build and grow with us, then that's what we'll do on the day and hopefully throughout the year.
When I envision the future of the campaign, I think about 1 million Canadians fasting together on the same day with the collective intention and desire to end violence towards women and children. I see people from all backgrounds and ages and genders and all of us standing together for something that is really important.
So that is the story behind the Moose Hide campaign as told by Raven and Paul Lacerte and other family members and friends in there. On May 14th, every year, it starts off with a gathering of people coming together and speaking about gender-based violence. And then throughout the day, there's various activities that you can become involved with. There, of course, is a walk, a fast, and workshops. And across Canada, other people and agencies are invited to do their own events and to post that on a link to invite others to join in also on the activities that they've planned for the day. The workshops this year, there was a number of them that you could participate in. Elaine Alec did Cultivating Safe Spaces. Len Pierre did Indigenous Trauma and Equity-Informed Practice. Rachel Lamb, An Introduction to Nonviolent Communication. Karin Potts, Holding the Room, Care, Boundaries, and Responsibility in Community Spaces. That was the one that I participated in. We have Being a Kind Man by Bob Goulet. Jeff Pereira, Meeting the Moment We're In as Men. And the one that we're going to play for you today, HOPE, Personal Development Workshop, facilitated by K.A.S.P, or Paul Sawan. So here we go with this workshop.
Today's session explores the HOPE framework: healing, overcoming, passion, and empowerment, and offers practical tools for navigating everyday life. It invites reflection on how we care for ourselves, shift our perspective, and take responsibility for our well-being. We're honored to learn with K.A.S.P today and to reflect on the teachings being shared. This is an opportunity to deepen our understanding of these issues and how we can show up in a good way to create safer spaces.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thank you for having me in your space, on your computer, wherever you're watching this at. It's a great honor to be facilitating for the Moose Hide campaign today. And what I'm going to share with you is a little bit about what I use to help me not only live better and do better, but to help me in everyday situations. And what I mean by that is everyday situations that we don't usually think about. And before I get into what we're going to be talking about, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Paul Salwin, a.k.a. K.A.S.P, and K.A.S.P stands for Keeping Alive Stories for the People, while HOPE stands for Healing, Overcoming, Passion, and Empowerment. Today, during this time, I'm going to share some tools with you that not only help me, but help a lot of people across Turtle Island. And these tools were gifted to me, and so I'm gifting them to you to help you not only help yourself when you're, faced with certain situations, like everyday life situations, but, just to help yourself in general. So these tools are amazing. And I believe that these tools also correspond and, they relate with the Moose Hide campaign in regards to, bringing awareness to stopping violence against women and children, right? And so that being said, the first thing I'm going to do is introduce hope. And everybody has hope in their own way. Everybody has, when it comes to hope, stands for something different than the next person. for me, when I facilitate this workshop, HOPE stands for Healing, Overcoming, Passion, and Empowerment. And the H in HOPE is really, really something special to me, because we all have something we're healing from. We all have something that we're letting go of. But when we're faced with hardship and faced with situations, sometimes we don't have hope. Sometimes we don't know how to heal. And in that regards, when it comes to healing, we have to not only, when we give people medicine, when we help people and we give them our mental, emotional, and physical, well-being, when we're sitting with them and listening to learn and not listening to speak, we have to give ourself medicine. And what I mean by giving ourself medicine is doing what makes us happy. When you give yourself medicine, not only are you giving to your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual, you're giving yourself a reason to not only be happy, but a reason to keep going and a reason to keep moving forward. And so the H in hope is the healing. And when it comes to healing, I believe that everybody, heals in their own way. But with these tools that I'm giving you, like giving yourself medicine, it'll help you heal whatever it is you're going through. So in regards to healing, in regards to medicine, how do you give yourself medicine? Do you go for walks? Do you do ceremony? Have you been to ceremony? And if you haven't, did you know that every day, no matter what, first thing right when you open your eyes, you're going through ceremony. It's not the physical ceremony in regards to the sweat. It's not that type of ceremony, but it's just the same. Because when you wake up, it's the Creator giving you another chance at life, another chance to experience the sunshine, the wind. So every morning when you wake up, one way to give yourself medicine is gratitude. And what I mean by gratitude is finding one thing to be grateful for yesterday. What's something that really, really, that you really, really appreciate? And for me, when I wake up in the morning, I always think of one thing that made me smile, one thing that made me happy, one thing that I experienced, even if it is such a small thing, and it's not even that small, allowing yourself to put both of your feet on the ground right when you wake up. So the first tool I'm giving you is give yourself medicine. And what I mean by medicine, we all also have things that we do that make us happy, right? So what I mean by that is making yourself happy in a healthy way. It's easy to focus on all the bad, but it's harder to focus on the good stuff. So for me, I do my best to always focus on the good, whereas a long time ago, I used to always focus on all the negative things and all the bad things and everything that was going wrong for me in my life. So instead, now today, I focus and I do my best, even when I give myself that 30 seconds to feel, that whatever it is I'm going through, I'll honor the sadness, I'll honor the anger, but I'll also give myself that medicine, right? Which is, giving myself the gift of gratitude and giving myself the gift of the medicine, which is realizing that I just been through ceremony right when I opened my eyes. And so when it comes to giving yourself medicine, I want you to think about it. Take some time to think about it while I'm speaking with you today, and think about, what do you do that makes you happy mentally? What do you do? Do you go for walks? Do you go outside? Do you go for hikes? Do you talk to elders? Do you see a counselor? Some of the best counselors see counselors, right? And so when it comes to giving yourself medicine mentally, what do you do? And emotionally, what do you do for yourself emotionally to give yourself medicine? Do you go see elders? Do you smudge? Do you pray? Do you jump in the water? What I mean by jumping in the water is that a lot of people who take ceremony, or not who take ceremony, but who live on the coast, when they were younger, some people, that was part of their puberty training. They jump in the water. You don't have to be going through that training to jump in the water, to ask the water to take away all that negativity and all that negative energy, right? So maybe that's another way you could give yourself medicine emotionally, right? And who knows, maybe you go to the gym, maybe you go for walks, maybe you go to the mountain. Whatever you do to balance yourself and to give yourself medicine emotionally, challenge yourself and do it. How do you give yourself medicine physically? Do you go to the gym? Do you go for hikes? Do you watch what you eat? Do you take traditional medicine? Do you go pick traditional medicine? Do you get active? What do you do to make yourself happy physically? And last but not least is spiritually. How do you give yourself medicine spiritually? Do you talk to the Creator? Do you pray? Do you smudge? Do you do yoga? What do you do? And so that's what I mean by giving yourself medicine. Now, when I first started talking about medicine at the beginning of this workshop, I forgot to mention that some people, they always look at things judgmental, right? And so when you look at things from a judgmental perspective, you don't allow yourself to grow and learn, right? When you're always judging somebody and looking at people that are judging somebody, or when you're judging yourself, you're not giving yourself permission to grow and permission to learn. And so another tool that I'll give on top of giving yourself medicine and allowing yourself to give yourself medicine, it's this tool called change your glasses. And what I mean by change your glasses, I'm not talking about your physical glasses. I'm not saying, hey, you're wearing these shades, take those shades off. No, I'm saying look at things differently. Instead of looking at things and, saying, oh, this has happened to me, and, beating yourself up and saying, poor me, I always challenge people to say, yay me, right? But when you change your glasses, you'll always find the value in all things. There's another tool I'm giving you. I'm planting these seeds, so hopefully by the end of this workshop, I'm not expecting you guys to pick up every single tool that I'm dropping, but maybe you'll pick up one and be like, hey, this is really going to help me be a better me for me, right? And so when it comes to changing your glasses, what are different ways you can change your glasses in your life? Meaning, what are different things, or how can you look at things differently when you're going through those things? The hard times, the good times, any time, but how are you learning from that, right? So when I say change your glasses, I mean change your perspective. Look at things differently, right? And in the very beginning, when I first started talking in this workshop, I was like, it's easy to focus on the bad. It's harder to focus on the good. When you change your glasses, you'll always focus on the good, but also no matter how good and how bad the situation is, you'll always find something to learn from it, right? You'll always learn something from it. And so that being said, is there anything in your life today that you could find a value in and learn from? Is there anything in your life today that you could say, hey, I'm going to change my glasses, I'm going to look at this differently, and I'm gonna keep moving forward, and I'm going to take what I learned from that situation and put it into my everyday life? So that's changing your glasses. Another perfect example of changing your glasses is, like when I said, it's easy to focus on the bad, it's harder to focus on the good. We all know how to focus on the bad. I remember a long time ago when I first started speaking and I first started facilitating, I used to always focus on my life situation, what I've been through, how bad my life was. And then I remember always comparing it to other people. I was comparing my traumas with other people's traumas. And then a lady talked to me and she spoke with me and she said, hey, aren't you sick of always talking about all the bad things that happened to you? And I looked at her, I was like, what do you mean? She said, aren't you sick of always saying, my dad was this, my mom was that, and just really focusing on the things that really make not only you sad, but made people sad. And I was like, yeah, but that's part of the way I facilitate. And then I used this tool called learning to listen. Learning to listen, but listening to learn. Sorry. Excuse me. And so when I said, okay, I'm going to listen to learn mentally, I learned from that no matter how much I focus on the bad, yeah, sure, people are going to learn from it, but they're not going to get what they need from it. So I don't always focus on the bad. What I do now is whenever I start to focus on the bad, I do my best to flip it. We call it flip the script. And I do my best to focus on the good. I remember I used to always talk about, oh, my dad beat me and this and that. And, he'd always sell my stuff and, we had no money and this and that. But now, today, when I say change your glasses, find the value in all things, today I say, okay, the value I found, the way I was raised by my dad, what I learned from it was no matter what, Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, we always had dinner. We always had family time. We always ate together as a family. Even though it was just me and my dad, we ate together. We had turkey, we had ham, turkey for Thanksgiving, turkey for Christmas, Easter. So even though my life was in chaos, we always had that family time. So now, when it's find the value in all things, and what did you learn from it? What I learned from that was how to be present, not only for me, how to love myself, but how to love my sons, my kids, my daughter, how to always show up for my kids and my daughters and everybody in my life that is special to me. But most importantly, how to be a good father and how to love myself and how to keep loving myself, even when some days when we don't feel like loving ourselves, we still need to. Because what did they say? God didn't make no junk. The Creator didn't make no junk. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose, right? So that's the value I found in that. So always focus on the good. Don't focus on the bad. Change your glasses. And what do they say? If nothing changes, nothing changes. Another way to explain about changing your glasses, that tool that really, really helps people, it helped me, and it helps so many people that I talk with, is that I share this story. And the story is like this. So a long time ago, there was this one scientist, and there was these three other scientists that worked under him. And the main scientist was like, okay, we're going to take a bunch of fish, big fish and little fish, and we're going to put them all in this aquarium. And they're all going to swim together, and they're all going to live together. Those three scientists right away looked at him and was like, what do you mean? And he's like, that's exactly what I mean. I'm telling you, we're going to take the big fish, and we're going to take a bunch of little fish, and we're putting them together for 3 weeks. So those three scientists looked at him, and they were like, what? Like, that's crazy. Like, why would you do that? And he just looked at them. He's like, just do it, please. So they took the big fish and the little fish, those three scientists, they put them in there. They put the lid on the little aquarium. Well, it was pretty big. And they fed the fish for 3 weeks. And what do you think happened? Well, it's not rocket science. The big fish ate the little fish. And so they kept on putting little fish in there, and the big fish kept on eating the little fish. So for those 3 weeks, there's bones and stuff starting to, pile up and whatnot. And finally, that older scientist, the main scientist, looked at the three and said, I'd like you to put a window in between and put the little fish on one side and keep the big fish on the other side. Do your best to do that. And so those three scientists were like, okay, that's crazy, but oh well. So they put that big mirror in between. After they did that, for 3 weeks, they kept feeding the fish, right? Fish food. And the main scientist looked down, and the three main scientists, the one who worked under the main scientist, looked down, and what do you think happened? Well, the fish were swimming around. Sometimes they'd bang into the window, but they kept swimming around for 3 weeks. Now, after the third week, the scientist said, hey, I want you to take that window out. And so the three scientists said, okay, we'll take it out. And they took it out, and those three scientists right away thought, okay, this is going to happen again. We're going to have a lot of bones. It's going to be a messy aquarium. Sure enough, what do you think happened right when they took the window out? What do you think happened? Well, they all started swimming around each other. The big fish swam around the little fish, and the little fish swam around the big fish. So you know what happened. They were forced to change their glasses. They were forced to change their perspective. They lived in between one another, with one another. And so in that case, with little fish and big fish having the little brains they have, if they can change their glasses and change their perspective, why can't you? So that's a little, that's a little bit about changing your glasses. The next important thing I want to leave with you, I want to give you, is not only find the value in all things, but a lot of us, we stay stuck in the past. Some of us think we could control the past. Some of us think we could go back to the past and make a better past. Some of us think we can control the future. Well, you can't. How many people have actually sat there and thought about it and they're like, man, I wish I could go back and change this, and this. I wish I could go back in the past, and you're still there. Some people are still there. I don't know if you're still there, but you're still there, and you're thinking like, man, I wish I could have stopped such and such from doing something, and you beat yourself up here. So you allow yourself to live rent-free here. When you allow yourself to live rent-free here, that's when you start responding to things. When people start saying things to you, right? It doesn't matter who you are. People will say things to you, and then you'll respond, right? And then that's where a lot of bullying comes from, because we get stuck in our head and we do this thing that's called scripting, right? And so we script in our head what we should do or what people should do or what they are going to do. So we think we know what they're going to do. We convince our mind that that's what's going to happen, right? And so we stay stuck in our head. We live rent-free in our own head. And then we stay stuck in the worst place possible. Now I'm going to ask you, where is the worst place you could stay stuck? In your head. The worst place you can stay stuck is in your head, because that's where you create all the negativity, all the negative stories. You beat yourself up. You analyze, you overanalyze about yourself, then you overthink, and then you start beating yourself up, and then in turn you start beating people up, and it's just this vicious cycle up here. So I challenge you to take the longest journey you're ever going to take in your life, and that's from your head to your heart. I'm going to say this again. I'm going to challenge you today, starting today, especially on this amazing day. I'm going to challenge you to get out of your head and into your heart, because that's the longest journey you're ever going to take. So when it comes to thinking about the past and wishing we could control the past, well, the past is only good for two things: beautiful memories and positive learning experiences. When I say beautiful memories, like I said, I just shared with you that all the beautiful memories I have of my dad, even though the way I grew up was pretty crazy, and if some of you guys sat through my workshops, which I think some of you guys did, and I actually know some of you guys did, you'll know that my life was pretty crazy. But again, I found the value in those situations, the beautiful memories in those situations. And the beautiful memories was, remember, the dinners, the time, the conversations, with my dad at that time. And so when it comes to beautiful memories for you, in those situations where you wish you could go back and change all those things that happened to you, what if you thought about just remembering the beautiful memories and not trying to change those beautiful memories? And the positive learning experiences, what are some positive learning experiences from that situation you're trying to change? What are some positive situations you can take away? Some positive learning experiences that you can take away. So I challenge you today, if you're stuck in the past, let it go. Like that character on the Disney movie, the Frozen movie, let it go, and she's singing around. If a little cartoon and a little kid's movie can teach you how to let it go, you should take that advice, let it go, let go of things that aren't serving you purpose. Remind yourself the past is only good for two things: beautiful memories and positive learning experiences. When it comes to that, the reason why we think we could change the past and all those other things is because, again, we script. So don't script. Don't think you could change the past. Don't live in the past, but remind yourself about the past that it's only good for two things: beautiful memories and positive learning experiences. And when it comes to that, then you'll learn that when it comes to people, when they do their best to belittle you or try to talk down on you, or even, do this thing that plagues a lot of nations, this thing called lateral violence. When we don't give that power, when we don't give that lateral violence power, when we don't give those people power, but we take back our power, that's when you start to find the value in you. And one way you could start to take back your power is A, don't take yourself so seriously. B, have safe fun, meaning find ways, give yourself medicine, right? Find ways that you can give yourself medicine in a positive way, right? And so when it comes to people talking down on you and people who always want to confront with you or have a conversation, sorry, who want to argue with you all the time. See, I'm human. I make mistakes. It's all good. Every time I facilitate these workshops, they sharpen the tools for me. So when it comes to somebody who wants to just conflict with you all the time, we call this tool, or we use it, and it's, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? Again, I'm going to ask you, would you rather be happy or would you rather be right? 9 times out of 10, we want to be happy. I want to be happy, and I know you want to be happy. So if you want to be happy and you're faced with those people who are always wanting to argue and always wanting to come at you with so much negativity, you can do this one thing. And all it is, thinking to yourself, and it's pretty simple. It's acknowledging their position, but acknowledging your position. So you can say, I acknowledge your position, but I have my own position. So it's, I acknowledge your position. This is my position. I'm going to say it again. I acknowledge your position. This is my position. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go out and whenever you get into an argument or you get into a situation where someone's really wanting to be right, I'm not saying go to them and be like, hey, I acknowledge your position. This is my position. I'm saying in your head, just say, you can say it, or you could just look at that person and just be like, okay. And that person who always wants to argue with you will be, well, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you could just sit back and not engage, right? Don't engage and just say, okay. And I guarantee you, you'll keep your happiness because you don't have to go through the whole song and dance of what they want you to do because of what they're going through, right? And that being said, there's an amazing tool that I always use. But first, I'm going to ask you, would you rather be happy? Oh, I asked you that already. It's like, I ask you people, I want to ask you, do you care about what other people think? I'm going to ask you this again, because I always repeat myself. Do you care about what other people think? And some people in this workshop will be like, well, yeah, of course I care about what other people think, because that's being respectful. Yeah, that is being respectful. But when you start to overanalyze things that people say to you, which make you respond in a negative way or an angry way, right? You'll sit back, and if you tell yourself this, the moment you're faced with that type of worrying about what other people think, you'll think to yourself, you'll tell yourself, you'll stop and give yourself that medicine, and you'll say, in your head if you want to, what other people think about me is none of my business. I'm going to say that again. What other people think about you is none of your business. As long as you know who yourself is, as long as you love yourself, as long as you respect yourself, and as long as you are happy, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about you, because you're living life for you, and you are number one, and who you are makes a difference to somebody. And no matter what, remind yourself that every day. You are number one. Who I am makes a difference. What other people think about me is none of my business, right? And so the moment you start to use that tool, I guarantee you, and I don't usually guarantee anything, things will start to change for you. Your life will get better. You won't worry about the little things. You'll start worrying, or, not worrying, sorry, but you'll start just thinking about you. Again, in the very beginning of this workshop, I asked you, how do you give yourself medicine? Right? I said, how do you give yourself medicine? When you give yourself medicine, you're giving yourself the tools to not only feel good mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, but you're giving yourself the tools to let go of what's not serving you purpose, so you can keep reminding yourself, who I am makes a difference. I am number one, and I have greatness in me, because I don't give anybody else the power to make me feel mad or to make me feel sad. Which brings me to this tool. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Number 1 is, who is responsible for your happiness? At the end of the day, when it's all life's happening, who's responsible for your happiness? Is it your mom, your dad, caregiver, I don't know, your little brother, your best friend, your spouse? Who's responsible for your happiness? Number 2, who's responsible, or do you have somebody in your life who always makes you feel loved? Do you have somebody in your life that you're like, oh, they make me feel so loved, and they just make me feel loved, and they make me feel loved, right? How many of you guys have that one person or people in your life that make you feel loved? And I'm going to ask this other one. How many people have that one person who make me feel so sad? They make you feel so sad, right? They just, no matter what they do, they just make you feel sad, right? Last but not least, how many of you guys have that one person who makes you feel mad? Oh, man, they make me feel mad. They just make me mad. How many of you guys have those people in your life that make you feel mad? I'm going to go back to question 1. Now, question 1, I asked you, who's responsible for your happiness? You. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible to make yourself feel loved. No one can make you feel loved. They can assist you. They can say, hey, I love you, or I appreciate you, and give you the hug, but they can't make you feel loved, right? They can't make you love yourself. No one can make you feel happy. Now, your husband, boyfriend, anybody like that, same thing. You are responsible for your happiness. You are responsible to make yourself and to do things that help you love yourself. Very beginning of this workshop, I said, what do you do to make yourself happy? What do you do? How do you give yourself medicine? And part of giving yourself medicine is making yourself happy, making yourself feel loved, and realizing that you are responsible for that love. Yeah, people come assist you, right? Like in hockey, baseball, or not baseball, hockey, basketball, that they assist, they can assist that. But the moment you start to sit back and start to think, and you're like, oh man, they made me feel so angry, you're giving away your power. You're giving away your power. When you sit there, and the moment you say, they made me, or they made me, right? A lot of people say, they made, no. You're choosing that. So the moment you think about it, the moment you realize it, and you're like, hey, no, they have no power over me. I'm not going to allow them to make me feel that, because nobody can. And sadness, that's a tricky one, right? But at the end of the day, honor those feelings, and remember, no one can make you feel anyway, as long as you love and respect yourself. Which brings me to the intimacy part, right? When it comes to any type of healthy relationship, including with yourself, right? We all talk about and tell our kids or tell people we love, hey, you should have a healthy relationship, right? You should have a healthy relationship. We're always shooting on people. I'm not swearing, I said should. But we're always shooting on people. You should have a healthy relationship, right? Or wouldn't it be nice if you had a healthy relationship, right? And so when it comes to that, I like talking about intimacy. Now, when I ask people, and I'm going to ask you, what is intimacy? What is true intimacy? Or when you hear the word intimacy, what's the first thing you think about? A lot of us will think about love and, the intimate, the hugging, the interactions, the intimacy in that regards. Some of us will think intimacy as in just love, right? Some of us will think like that. But I got this tool, not only from a place, from this awesome, amazing elder that I knew, that I still know. She's still here. She's my elder now because she passed away. She's my ancestor, right? She's your ancestor. And she, before she passed away, she always told me, she gave me these cool tools this cool tool. And this cool tool is like, when you watch a movie and you watch a TV show, a lot of movies have learning teaching moments in there. They teach you things, right? You can learn a lot for some of these movies. They have hidden lessons in them, right? Perfect example I love to use is Rocky. Rocky movies, man, they all have hidden messages in them. But this movie was a movie that was pretty funny. And it was a movie that was a long time ago, like in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. And there was this actor by the name of Mike Myers, right? Canadian actor. Everybody probably knows who he is. But anyways, the movie he made was called The Love Guru. And now when I was growing up, first thing, I watched it and I was like, oh man, that movie's funny, Love Guru, right? And, what it was all about. It was about Michael Myers being this love guru and teaching people about love and, just love, right? And there was this one part in the movie that really stuck out for me, but it also helped me love myself in regards to being able to take myself out to movies and dinner and really honor my space when I'm alone. And so, because when you honor your space, then you start to honor other people's space. When you love yourself, then you can start to love other people. When you start working on yourself, mental, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, you could start to accept the differences of others, accept your weaknesses, accept your strengths, right? And accept the differences of others. That's another tool that I'm going to jump into after this. And so, when it comes to intimacy, I broke it down because the movie broke it down. But when the movie broke it down, it was kind of silly because the love guru was asked, somebody asked the love guru, so what's intimacy? And the love guru said, well, it's into me, I see. I'm going to say it again. Intimacy is into me, I see. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, what? Into me, I see? That's not how you spell intimacy. And then, I laughed at myself. I was like, oh, yeah, it's an acronym, right? So intimacy became an acronym. Just like my name, K.A.S.P, keeping lives service for the people. Just like the workshop, hope, healing, overcoming, passion, empowerment, right? But this is intimacy. Into me, I see. The moment you learn the true intimacy for you, the moment you could look into yourself and acknowledge all your strengths and acknowledge all your weaknesses and also accept the differences in others, that's when you'll start to even grow even more. That's when you'll start to love yourself. That's when you'll start to accept your gifts and start to use your gifts if you're not already using them already. So when it comes to intimacy, it's into me, I see. Find true intimacy with yourself. I'm going to say that again. Find true intimacy with yourself. And you got to keep telling yourself this. You got to keep learning naturally, and not naturally, but also not just naturally, but YouTube, Google, there's so many ways that you could learn how to love yourself. Even with these workshops, for this Moose Hide campaign, there's all these amazing tools that you're going to get throughout this whole day, right? You're going to put those tools in your toolkit, in your personal toolkit. And I guarantee you, and I don't usually guarantee anything, things will change for you. But another tool I'm going to leave with you too, another one I'm going to give you is, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you do what you always done, you'll get what you always got. I'm going to say it again. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If you're not going to change your glasses and you're going to be like, poor me, my life's horrible, your life's going to be horrible. But if you change your glass and say, hey, I've been through stuff, I'm thriving. I'm not a survivor, I'm a thriver. That's another tool I'm going to leave with you. See, I'm planting seeds, right? So instead of saying, I'm a survivor, you're a thriver. When you talk about loving yourself, into you, you see, into me, I see, true intimacy, that's when you'll start to change.
So thank you to K.A.S.P. or Paul Sawan, a multi-award winning Indigenous hip-hop artist. And he draws from over 17 years of sobriety and community work to deliver that message to us all. So we encourage you to wear your moose hide pin with pride every day. And if you don't have one, get in touch with us and we will get one to you. And remember the message. This is all about calling people in, not calling people out, and changing our environment through love. And we're going to go out with a tune from K.A.S.P. So thanks for listening to the Red Road Journey, and we'll see you next week. Here is Just Fine, featuring K.A.S.P. and Don Amero.
Sometimes unkind, the Creator will show you a sign that will define what your next step should be. See, life can change in a second, leave you guessing with no direction. In some ways, it's a blessing, missing how life was with the freedom that we took for granted. We never had to worry about getting sick so quick, losing loved ones to something we can't even see. Soon one day we shall be free, but you gotta keep going, you gotta keep praying, you gotta keep smudging and reaching out to the ones you love. Sometimes all you need to do is listen. It only takes a minute and your life can change. That's why I take a second to light some sage in the book of life. You never know which way the days are gonna go. Everything gonna be just fine. I know. I feel like the sun don't shine, don't get it. We all feel like sometimes in a minute. I know. Everything gonna be just fine. Yo, stay focused. Help the ones who are the closest. Then you'll notice things will get better. We gotta be faithful, count our blessings every day. The Creator will always pave the way. So remember, help when you can. Hold up your fellow man to find the value in all things should be the plan. No matter what you do, remember you have greatness in you. Things will get better. Everything gonna be just fine. I know. It feels like the sun don't shine, don't get it. We all feel like sometimes in a minute. I know. Everything gonna be just fine.
Yeah, I know the struggle. I've done more than a mile in those shoes. I remember the feeling of being so alone, thinking no one understands. But you see, we all carry some pain with us, and the truth that I've learned is that going through that hurt has made me stronger on the other side. So keep your head up.
In a minute.
Everything is going to be just fine. K.A.S.P. featuring Don Amero. And again, if you are looking for more information about the Moose Hide campaign, or if you wanted to listen to some of the additional workshops that were released on May the 14th this year, you can go to www.moosehidecampaign.ca/workshops/ and there's lots there to learn from. Okay, and the Moose Hide pins, as we mentioned, we have lots to share. So you just need to get a hold of Two White Feather or myself, Lori Gentle Eagle, at a womb with a view makes a difference at gmail.com. And do check out our YouTube channel, The Red Road Journey, where you can hear our original interview with Raven Lacerte herself. That was back in 2024, so you'll have to scroll back. And actually, I think it was on our YouTube channel that we called A Womb with a View first off. So you'll have to scroll back for that, or maybe what we'll do is we'll put up both on our Facebook pages. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.